Hello, this is Dominique Majid and Janina Engels. In our Impact Beyond podcast, we are aiming to connect the members of ACM Western Europe and beyond.
Being part of a team and communicate amongst us is key and essential to be successful in a competitive environment. In our podcast, we would like to discuss our purpose, our values, our strategy, our leadership culture and commitments to generate more speed, fun and impact for our customers.
We invite all of you to collaborate and contribute to our podcast. We want to be inspired and challenged by you, and if we are successful, then we hope we can inspire you too. Impact Beyond. We make it happen. Hi everybody and welcome to our podcast. Our dialogue today in our episode number 23, it is a more special one, let's say, because we are happy to have a customer with us again. Dom and Frank Borgmann had an interview with Antoni Cammany Dorr, CEO of Epidor, a premium partner of us based in Spain, Barcelona, and he was also working for Henkel in the past before he went to his family-owned business. It is very interesting to get his view on the pandemic and what they are struggling with to overcome this crisis as a company, but also from country perspective. Good to have Antoni joining our community and to get all his insights. Enjoy listening!
Welcome to our Impact Beyond podcast. Today we are talking to Antoni Cammany, CEO of Epidor, a Spanish-based premium partner. Nice to meet you, Antoni.
Nice to meet you too, Dominic.
So Antoni, how would you introduce yourself to people that you meet for the first time?
Well, let me try this way. My name is Antoni Cammany Dorr. I am born in Barcelona, but part of my family, my mother was German, so I have half German, half Catalan, Spanish background. That was in 1961. I am 58 years old. I'm married. I have 3 children already, everybody working by their own. I was always in my life interested in living in nature. My parents brought us the opportunity to live out of Barcelona, so in the countryside. So I like very much nature and all sports related with nature. And that was also very comfortable because the headquarters of our company was also located in the surroundings of Barcelona. I studied biology from the very beginning. That was part of my interest for the nature for 4 years. But also I realized that my family had a company, and probably that mean in a certain moment that should be part of my future. So I definitely decide to complement my studies doing a master degree in business administration in ESADE in Barcelona. Since I start in our family-owned business as a 3rd generation, I would say that my approach in the last 30 years have been to bring a little bit the internationalization view of our company in terms of getting contacts out of Spain, learning from what's going on in our market in Europe. And that brought us the opportunity to become part of EPTDA, European Power Transmission Distributors Associations, also another association related with seals and gaskets. In both associations, I was involved to the point that I was president for a certain time. And finally, also, I was a founding member of another project called One, which is something that probably we will talk later on. So basically at the end, meaning that my development as business entrepreneur in our company, group of companies, has been this international approach.
Thank you so much, Antoni, for giving us the background. To even better understand on what kind of person you are, we would like to ask you the following questions, and it would be great if you just answer with the first thing that comes into your mind. What inspires you?
What inspires me? Today, I have to put that question in today. Today is, as I said before, 58 years old, so 30 years of experience living in Barcelona, having also this crisis that we are living right now with the COVID-19. Answering that question today, I would say that my inspiration is how to be clever enough to combine managing a group of people, an organization, a team at the end, which is our organization, in terms of being competitive in the present circumstances in the market, and at the same time balance this approach with the fact of trying to be or to help the community and the society to become more sustainable for the future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to decide, what would you take from the following two options? No internet or no flying or traveling?
Wow, this is a tough question, a tough choice. To be honest, if I have both, just one single decision is difficult. But if I had to choose one of two, probably I would say no traveling, no flying for traveling, which is much more a sustainable approach, if you want to say this way.
That's true. And if you have to decide between dishes, what would you prefer, Spanish tapas or German food?
Sorry for my mother and my background as half German, but of course my choice would be Spanish tapas. Probably was expected from me.
Yeah, good. Now, thank you for that. And now let us come to the question that we have into your direction. Antoni, you have a long time history with Henkel, even before you became the CEO of Epidor. Can you give our audience a little bit of background on when and how you engaged with Henkel?
Well, yes. As I said before, my degree in the university, the one that gave me my professional life, was business administration. That was from 1982 to 1987. When I finished, I took the specialization of marketing, and being studying in SADE in Barcelona. Basically, the two options were financials from one side, and then you get to the big four that were getting a lot of jobs. Or if you want to marketing, there were few companies that have really, let's say, a very professional approach to marketing. And Henkel was one of the best, or probably the best choice in Barcelona. I had the chance to apply and to get the job. And then starting my professional life in Henkel in the marketing department in the detergents market. So I took the chance to start as an assistant with the typical brand that everybody was focusing on what's going on with Mistol and all the development and the profitability, etc. And later on, I stayed for 3.5 years in Henkel. I took the responsibility as product manager to other brands like Micolor and Bip Express, till the point in which I was appointed to go to Düsseldorf. At that time, and probably I don't know if today continues being like this, the typical career in Henkel was after 2, 3, 4 years, moving to Düsseldorf for a couple of years to get the experience of the headquarters, and then to come back with a promotional position, etc. At that point, that was in 1990, at the end of 1990, I unfortunately had to resign that opportunity because from the perspective of our business, the business of our family, was starting to get the crisis of industrial crisis in Spain that was more or less from 1990 till 1993. And well, I have the internal doubt of should I continue my professional career in Henkel as a professional, or should I try to help to support a specific situation that we were living as a family in our company. And definitely I took the second choice, and that was the reason why I left in December of 1990 Henkel.
So, but this is great to hear. I mean, you know Henkel as an employee and now as well as a supplier. So I think there is a very strong connection.
Absolutely. And not only that, but I have to recognize that all the learnings I got from Henkel, all the processes all the way of doing the market analysis, the approach to study the competitors, the customer, all that stuff was absolutely high value for me, and was one of the, I would say, the learnings that I brought to my company. And I've been working much more in that professional direction of managing a company from the learnings I got from Freudenberg. Freudenberg. Freudenberg is another German brand that probably we will talk later on, but from Henkel.
Okay, good. Thank you for that insight, which I think is very interesting. Looking into the current situation, I mean, the entire world is suffering from the COVID-19 pandemic, and Spain, unfortunately, is very much affected in many different areas. How does this situation influence your business, and how do you react on the situation that we are currently in?
Well, yes, as you said, this pandemic has hit strongly all the economies, but probably the Spanish one has been one of the more affected according to the macroeconomic figures that we are collecting through the month. Of course, I would say that Spain, the impact has been very, very hard for the tourism. Here we have thousands of millions of euros that during this summer have not come to Spain. And this is a big, huge cost that all the economy will pay sooner or later. The lack of all these influence of business that was supposed to arrive as every year. No? So that has affected quite strongly the economy, but to be honest, from the industrial point of view, the impact has not been that dramatic, as I said, always in this pandemic until today. No? Mm-hmm. In our case, the impact has been much stronger in the OEM. We are having a results of minus 10% in the accumulated of the year with OEMs, minus 2.5 in the MRO, which makes an average of our company that we are managing more or less minus 5% related to 2019, which logically, when you see all the scenario around you, seems that is not that bad. And also comparing with all the figures we receive from benchmarks analysis that we have in EBITDA, for example, we see that our performance is a little bit better than the average of the market, which is great, which is good for us. No? But going to the point that you say, how we have to react to that, I would say that that our focus from the very beginning was, as everybody, to keep the team healthy. And I would say healthy from two perspectives, and healthy and focused. And that would be probably my receipt in the present circumstances. Healthy, of course, we can say that we were focusing as everybody to take all the measures about social distancing, keeping a lot of space in the facilities, cleaning hands, masks, and all that stuff. But also healthy from the perspective of the stress of the situation, when we had to announce that we were going to do a Kurzarbeit in our company, in these German terms, because of course the activity of the market and the impact in our revenues was at that moment strong. So we did as many other companies, but in this case we took also a decision which I think was very important, to guarantee, according to the Spanish conditions, when you ask for this type of Kurzarbeit, to guarantee that the people will receive a compensation from our side for the 99% of the fixed salary. So that even if the company asks you to work only 60, 70, 75% of the day, you will get the salary, the fixed salary guarantee as up to 99%. I think that this was a measure to bring part of stability to the people. All the anxiety of the situation in terms of the health and the social situation, at least that we could bring to all our team the stability that the income is not going to suffer during all this pandemic. I'm talking from April till September that we finished the Kurzarbeit and we went back to the normality. And the other part of the measure was, as I said before, to keep the people focused. And this has a lot to do with the second topic of this pandemic, which is how to manage the home working versus working in the presence in the facilities. And from that perspective, we have been trying to fight terms very, very dramatic probably, but to try to bring as much stability and continuity to our team, avoiding to go up and down according to the political measures or the political feelings that we have been seeing in all the different markets and governments that are changing mentalities and changing directions from time to time. How to avoid that this affect our continuity in order to bring our people focus on what we have to do, which is the best way to do our job. And this has meant for us to define clear policies on how many people can we have at the offices and how many people do we have to have in a rotation model home working, but trying to keep this model running and running week after week so that people knows exactly how to expect and especially how to share all the day by day as much as possible with the rest of the colleagues. And this is our job until today, trying to send this measure of continuity and stability that helps all the organization to keep us focused on the business, focus on our customers and the service. And by the way, it seems at least the results does not says that we are doing a bad choice until today. Thanks God.
No, that sounds really like you are navigating very healthy and professionally through this difficult situation. So really good to see what approach you found for your own company. And you mentioned that overall, of course, you are not on the levels of 2019, right? So how are your customers dealing with this situation? What do you observe in this context? Is there industries that struggle more and maybe others that benefit from the situation? So how would you summarize the customer view on it?
Yes, in fact, that's true. As I said before, the industry until today has not suffered that much. But of course, this is also an average. When you see the market, the first thing we did at the beginning of the pandemic, and especially because it was not possible to visit the customers, so we have all the external salespeople, let's say, staying at home, which is not the normal way of doing business and activity through the day. So we invest a lot of time starting to learn more than we expect or we think we know from our customers. And that means knowing which is the activity of our customers and knowing which is the end market of our customers, because that could bring us also the capacity to understand the difficulties of our customers in the next future, and of course, how to address or how to focus our activity in the markets that are going to work much better compared with the markets that are going to basically survive as much as they can. So that was a learning that we started to do from the beginning. And of course, the result was like this. Everybody knows today in our market and our colleagues from our companies, which are the markets that are suffering the most and which are the markets that are much more, let's say, benefit from that situation. We are trying to support ones and to help the others, but of course, learning that we need to keep also surviving in our market. So we are getting closer and closer to the customers and the industries that are getting more benefits from this situation. Of course, all the pharmaceutical business, all the food and beverage, of course, are the typical ones that everybody is trying to get close to them. And that's a little bit the result. Even in that situation, what is very clear is that we are facing a lot of activity with less turnover. This is the typical situation, even for the customers that are doing well, that we have plenty of activity, plenty of offers and contacts with the customers, but at the end, the quantity of items they order are much less than the normal, no? And that brings an additional challenge for our distribution business, which is how to be efficient, trying to do all the same activity with less income.
Okay.
But honestly speaking, we suffer very much in the crisis of 2008, especially in Spain. The difference here is that the liquidity that all the banks and the financial European system has given to the market, that is helping, I would say, is part of the question why we are in the industry having, let's say, less impact than we should have, because of the help of the financial system to the economy in general.
Mm-hmm. So you use the time to really gain better insights from your customers, which I think is very valid also to plan the future. And I think what you mentioned is also the help of the government in terms of financial support really also helps the industry overall to survive. Is there any additional help that you would seek from the government, or where you think the Spanish economy needs a push to quickly recover?
We are hearing from all our governments something that I would say, I hope it's going to be a reality, but is the typical mantra that comes from time to time. Now everybody's complaining why the industry in Spain has been decreasing through the last 25 years. All the investments and all the beauty of Spain has gone into the tourism, services, the construction of houses for the foreigners that are coming to Spain for the retirement and things like this. And always the complaint was industry is not being supported in Spain and is reducing day after day. And now they have realized in this crisis once more, especially for the impact and the dependency we have from the tourism, that we need more industry. And that would be something that we need to push very much our authorities and administration, especially with all the funds that are coming from Europe to help all the economies. I would like to think that our governments will really apply all these funds in investing, if possible, in the industry and not wasting the money just trying to keep other businesses which are probably much more in difficult future development.
Okay, thank you, Antoni, for giving us these insights to the country situation. If we think of your company, you are active as a producer of seals and rubbers, but you are of course also a distributor for technical products. Which part of the business is most important to you and why?
Yes, as you have said, seals was the beginning of our company. From the very beginning, my grandfather starts a tiny distribution company in Barcelona that was a distribution of Freudenberg. That was the other company I was mentioning before. And Freudenberg has been, for our business, like our big brother. We have learned many of the things of the market thanks to that big German multinational. And the reason was because my grandfather was the father of my mother, so the German brand of my family. And since that moment, and for the next generation, which was my father, and until now, seals was our top brand, our specialization, was the reason why we are known in the Spanish market even today. Epidor is like a reference for the seals market in the industry. And that's today close to 45% still of our business. So from the perspective of the importance in our group of companies is still very important. When we look to the future and we try to understand our position in the market for the future, we know that, we know and we have been working through the years how to implement our portfolio with other industrial parts. From our background, which was being very specialized in seals, the next step was to introduce other mechanical components also from the technical perspective. And from that perspective of increasing our portfolio in technical mechanical parts, finally we end up in all the MRO parts that are necessary for the industry in general. And that was to open our portfolio to a huge bunch of different products and manufacturing companies. And in that process, it was when I think was around about 2008 that we became distributors of Henkel with Loctite at that moment, because it was for us a very important complement of our service to the MRO businesses. Today, when we look for the future, we know that the importance of all these MRO parts are crucial for our development, because the industry potential, especially in Spain, it's much bigger in the MRO market than in the OEM market. So from the perspective of how do we manage the future of our company, we have to keep our specialty in seals as much as we can, defending our leader position in the market as a specialist, but at the same time we have to focus for the MRO parts as the big potential that we still have to gain in the market.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for these insights. And Epidur is also a member of One MRO Supply, so a European organization of family-owned distribution companies. Can you explain to us where you see the main benefit of your company to be a member of this group?
Yeah, first benefit would be the visibility of my company in the European multinational arena. Being part of One means that we can be on the table of the discussions when applying for MRO contracts for big multinationals, multi-plant in Europe. So that's first step. Second one is we increase our competitiveness, because we can do very good job in the Spanish market, which is our local market. But if we are playing the game of multinationals, which are with plants in different countries, difficult to be competitive if you want to give or deliver services in France, Germany, or Holland, for example. So competitiveness is another point. And third, which is for me also very important, is the benchmarking and the networking we have among our peers, among all the rest of members of One. The fact of working together in this project means that we are learning one from each other. We learn the best practices, the best products, the best suppliers, the best experience of all my colleagues. And I do the same with when they ask to me. So, and that brings a lot of value. And this value not only is to me, but to my team, to my people, which is for me basic. All our people working in our company, they cannot think that we are in the Spanish market and our only focus have to be our Spanish economy and our Spanish customer. Not at all. Market is every day more open. So my people has to have the chance of working together with other people from other members of One in the projects or everything that is related with the competitiveness of our companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other family-owned members, right, in One. So how do you balance the fact that on one hand you are partners, members in the same organization, and on the other hand you are also competitors?
Well, let's say that the fact of being competitors is sometimes I don't know if that's very English, is overvaluated. No, it's probably very small circumstances in which the corners of to where one of the members can deliver service and another member can do the same can match, and that could be seen as a problem. But this, as always in life, if you only focus in this tiny possibility as a problem, then it seems that all the project is a problem, and that's not the case. That happens only from time to time, and we have a very let's say easy solution for that, which is the customer is always the one that chooses. So that's not, honestly speaking, in the table of our discussions. Of course, we have always chosen members for the network which really do not repeat or do not service exactly the same geographical area of other member. But this is a simple thing of logics for that.
Mm-hmm. If you could give us quickly maybe three of the mega trends or main trends that and challenges that you see in industrial distribution in the future. So what are the main areas where you think you have to focus on?
Well, mega trends in our market, of course, the first one should be the consolidation. I think everybody sees how the big groups are buying day after day, month after month, smaller distributors, and every day smaller and smaller distributors, because the medium size probably are already taken to become big groups. So that's one of the big trends that we will see, of course, in the next years to come. Another trend that I see are value-added services. I think that everybody is understanding that we have to understand our approach to the industry and to the customers, not as a product supplier, but as a service supplier. And our skills have to move more from the understanding the customer needs, more than being specialized in the products we manage. Because when we go to the industrial customer talking about my product, probably the customer says, I don't care that much about your product. I care about my problem, and give me your solution to my problem, which of course will be at the end a product, but has not to be the focus on how to approach customers. So this type of focusing in the service to the industry, I think, is also a big trend. Of course, we are obliged to productivity also in our activity. So how to bring costs down, because the competitiveness of the market will oblige us, and that means many things like connectivity to customer, automatization of our logistic processes, online and digital solutions, etc., etc. So that will be also an important trend that will live in the next years. And all these under the umbrella of how become more sustainable, which I guess will be also a driver in the decision-making system of our business also.
And taking this into consideration, so what would you expect from suppliers like Henkel with regards to our offering of services and products to make you more competitive?
Well, as I said before, for me, and that's also comes from one of the discussions that we have internally in the group of one, from our big and strategic suppliers. Probably we need support in terms of connectivity to bring all the transactional business we keep together as low cost as possible, and that thing is in the benefit of both sides, but we need to work more on that. We need to work also very much in the transparency of the product database. Information is one of the key issues, how to manage and how to bring all the items into the visibility and to our customers. So, and that needs that we can really have a very transparent and easy connection of that information with our suppliers. And probably in the next future also how to learn and how having learning tools from our suppliers to our team, which needs for the future probably to keep a good balance in terms of technical understanding of the products to the level in which they can be used easily with the end customer. Understanding that in our business, our salespeople at the end have to have a lot of products in the basket. So the balance of how deep and easy understanding and learnings from the product is a kind of skill that we need to receive very clear from our manufacturers.
That resonates very much with what we sell expertise. Antoni, for this outlook. Any questions you brought with you today for us?
Well, yes, as you have seen, I've been talking a little bit about myself, my company, and about one. And from that perspective, I would like addressing to company like Henkel. How do you see the competitive characteristics of the family-owned independent distributors in a market that every day is more consolidated with big groups?
So I think if we take a look at the market, there's probably room for different types of distributors, and the consolidated distributors that we see that are covering more the region have have a valid position in the market. On the other hand, I think the family-owned companies have a very local approach as well, and you now with the one organization that you explained are also trying to connect across Europe. So also there you are looking for more pan-European distributors. I think the family-owned companies have a very close proximity to their customers and probably can offer more individual service to their end customers than the big ones can do. But I think to cover the entire market, there is room for different types of distributors.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, I agree absolutely that the market has this type of diversity, which is good because each profile can bring different benefits to the end user. Does it mean, from that perspective, does it mean that when you in the position of the distribution policy of a big company like Henkel, do you have to define a specific strategy when working for the distribution market of family-owned companies than when you work for the distribution market of the big groups and I don't know if other channels?
Well, let me phrase it this way. I mean, on one hand, and you know that having been a colleague of ours, so to say, many years ago, that also Henkel is a family-owned business, right? So from this perspective, we have a certain sympathy for family-owned businesses. But what for us is very important because we think end-to-end from our offering down to the end user, that our partners are sharing the values and also the mission practically that we follow. And I mentioned this we sell expertise dimension, and you practically told us that you are exactly going into this direction because you said we need to teach our people, they need to learn continuously, and practically that means you are creating a certain expertise that makes you outstand with regard to your competitors, right? So people do not come to you to buy a product, they come to you to buy a solution for their problem. And that is very much exactly like we look at these topics. So to answer your question, we prefer to work with partners that share our own view on how to deal with issues that our customers have, our joint end users have. And this is how we look at our partners. So we are not looking for selling at the biggest volume or selling at the lowest price. Of course, everybody wants to sell more. This is the nature of our business. But we want to sell a valuable and sustainable product or solution or solving issues. You know what I mean? So practically, as you share our values and our sales approach, this is why we love working with companies like yours. Does that answer your question, or would you like to?
Yes, I understand. I understand your approach. No, but I just was trying to think if I was in your seat, looking at the European market and looking at the different profiles of distributors that you have in your portfolio. That the question was if you think that you have to give different measures and different support when you, for example, work with the typical profile of family-owned companies than if you work with big groups, because probably the type of relation is different and the type of needs of the different profile of distributors is also different. In terms, of course, from my perspective, always to try to see a different approach and support for our own circumstances as family-owned companies that probably have not exactly the same to do as the big groups.
Frank, would you like to refer to it, or
Yeah.
should I do?
No, I can refer to this. So I mean, our target is to support distributors in a similar way, and I think that is also necessary. However, like Dominic already said, I think for us it's important that we share the same values and that we enable our distributors to work closely with us and develop new business for us. So for support of this, for instance, we are currently in the preparation of a launch of a new project that we called Loctite Sales Excellence, which we will roll out to selected distributors, and here also mainly family-owned companies, to really engage stronger with our sales force and to engage stronger with the end customer to really develop new applications at the end customer and to ensure a better service to the end customer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for the answer.
So towards the end, we have prepared some closing questions, if you allow, Antoni. And yeah, I hope you feel familiar with them and can answer them. So what do you think should everyone has done at least once in his life or her life?
To learn and to live, if possible, out of their homeland. To understand the other mentalities that people can have in the world, different from the ones they have in their home.
Okay, yeah, resonates with me at least very much, I can say. And maybe you have already answered the next question then. So what are the one or two habits that helped you getting to where you are now?
Yeah, as you say, yes, a little more related. When thinking about habits, for me, business networking and benchmarking has been always like a must. Please, everybody has to be humble enough to understand that the learnings are out of your company, mainly. So the more you go out and you try to see what others are doing and learn the best practices of others, that's the best thing you can do for your own company, your own team, your organization. So that has been an habit that I have tried to develop through the years. And the second one, I would say, to be transparent with your team. All the learnings you have, all the things you believe or you think, you have to try to be as much transparent with your team, to release the information, to open the thoughts and the strategies. So the more the people is informed and sharing the information, I always have thought that is much better for the development of everyone.
Okay, so thank you very much for these insights, and it was really a great talk with you, very inspiring, and thank you very much for the openness also with regards to us.
Oh, thank you very much for you. For me, it's an honor to have the opportunity to participate in this initiative. So nothing to say about that, and just from my side, to be very happy to be able to be here.
Yeah, also from my side, thank you very much, Antoni. I think that was really great insights that we learned about how Epidor and how you as a person are acting in the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
This was an episode of the Impact Beyond podcast. In order to continuously learn and grow for our next episodes, we are glad to hear from you. So please feel free to like or comment our podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Impact Beyond podcast.